Well, thank you, Doug. And I think those words are troubling in a time where America finds ourselves as divided as I've ever seen us. And I think a lot of people are like me. We are exhausted of the controversy and the division, and we want to come together. And in the middle of this pandemic, with the hardship that so many Utah families are feeling, now it is important more than ever to stop the name calling and stop the finger pointing and come together. When I was elected to Congress just over a year and a half ago, one of the first things I did was join a group called the Problem Solvers Caucus. This is a group made up of Republicans and Democrats. In fact, to join, you have to join 2 by 2, a Republican and a Democrat. And we meet on a frequent basis to talk about legislation and talk about how we can break the gridlock and how we can come together to solve our country's challenges. And you know, I'll tell you one thing I've learned through that is that there are good people in both political parties, and there are good ideas in both political parties. And I think the more we listen and talk to each other, the more we can come together to address our challenges like this pandemic, like jobs in the economy, and addressing improving access for so many Utahns who really need it.
Let me give you a 30-second response, and then back to Congressman McAdams. Then I have a different question that maybe turned the tenor.
I have always believed, and I've been very proud of the fact that we have friends on both sides of the aisle. I have independent friends, friends that are apolitical. And today, as long as we have the same end game, we the people do best when we communicate and we talk. We also have to understand that there's truly an enemy at our door, and this is where Americans have to recognize. There are people who really hate our nation, hate our culture. And it doesn't have to just be outside of our country, it could be inside our country. When you have folks that are truly trying to take away our rights of life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, there's an ideology that is totally against what the rest of us are for. I'm the only Republican in my family, and yet we have nice debates, we love each other, and that's what Americans do best. We the people talk, we get through it, as long as we have the same end game. There are people in leadership of the Democratic Party do not have the same end game we have, guys. They want to take away our rights for life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. And it's important to recognize that if my opponent thinks that he can just kind of just go along and just be okay with that, then he's been complicit with those who are trying to take away our liberty.
30 seconds.
Well, thank you, Doug. You know, I think the voters are seeing a clear distinction here. Are we going to move forward? Look, I think we're not at war with ourselves. We are all Americans. When I wake up in the morning, I don't look in the mirror and see a Republican or a Democrat. I'm an American and a Utahn and someone who cares about my family and making sure that my kids do well and have opportunities in life. And I think if we're going to heal what's broken in Washington, and we know it's broken, we don't need name-calling and finger-pointing. We need listening and people who can recognize that we have so much more in common than what divides us. And that's how I've served, and it's how I'll continue to serve.